This is the inside of the Elddis Majestic 180. If I firstly come to the main control panel, I can turn the 12 volt on just by flicking the master switch just here. You will now see that the voltage of the battery is displayed up here. Next we have lights on and off, awning light on and off, and then water pump on and off. We need the water pump on so we can get water out of the taps, flush the toilet and fill the boiler if it's been drained down. Whenever the pump is running, the green light will illuminate to let you know. The red light above will illuminate when the grey water tank needs emptying. And to view how much water is in the fresh tank, hold the water button down here and then go by the blue part of the gauge. Above this we then have the controls for the heating and hot water. This top one here is for your heating, and this side here controls the temperature. This side here picks the power source. So we're currently on O for off. If I now flick it across to the left, wavy lines represent mains electricity. So as long as you're hooked up to the main supply, we're now running the heating on about 500 watts. If I flick it down again, we're using about 1 kilowatt. And if I flick it down once more, we're now using mains electricity using about 2 kilowatts. So these are just dependent on the ampage of the site you're on to try and avoid tripping. If we have both power sources available to us, we can run in dual fuel mode, so a mixture of gas and mains electricity. And to do this, we just flick it down to here. So you'll see we have a flame and main supply using about 1 kilowatt. Whenever the unit is consuming gas, a little green light will appear just here to let you know. If I now return back to off and flick it across once to the right, we have a little picture of a fan just there, and that is the circulation fan on its own without any heat, which is extremely handy to circulate air around the motorhome on a warm day. And then lastly, if I flick it across again, we have a little picture of a flame, and this is literally just the heating, just using gas. And again, whenever it's consuming, green light will come on. If there is a problem with the unit in any way, a red light will begin to flash, and it flashes like Morse code, and in the manual it will tell you what the problem is. If it's something basic, like you're trying to run it on main supply and you don't have any mains connected, once you think you've rectified the problem, you will need to reset this control panel. And the way we do this is by turning it on and off. But it's not just like so, you do have to be a little bit aggressive with it to make it reset. So literally just like this until the red light disappears. If we now move just beneath it, we have the controls for the boiler. So we have a rocker switch on this side, wavy lines again represent main supply, so rocker switch in the middle off. If I now flick it up, we'll begin to heat hot water on mains electricity using about 1 kilowatt. And if I flick it down, hot water on mains electricity using about 2 kilowatts. So again, just dependent on the ampage of the site you're on. If I now go back to off, if I want to heat the hot water on gas, I literally just flick the switch down to the little picture of the flame. And again, once it's lit and consuming gas, a green light will appear here. Again, if there's a problem with the boiler in any shape or form, red light will begin to flash like Morse code again, and look in the handbook to find out what the problem is. And again, if it's an easy fix, you will need to reset this control. And again, if it's an electric problem, just literally flick it up and down like so until the red light disappears. Or if it's a gas issue, flick this one up and down until the red light disappears. Exactly the same as up here. We can run the boiler on dual fuel if we want to get hot water extremely quickly. If I now come to the travel seats just here, and we just remove the cushion, and we now also just flap down here, we have the consumer unit just here. So we have the individual MCBs just here, all labelled up, letting you know what each one is for, and then we have the main RCD and test button just here. So if something's not working on main supply, just check to see if you've tripped. Beneath that we then have the 12 volt fuses, and again they're all labelled up, so if anything's not working on 12 volt, just check to see if you've blown a fuse just here. The battery charger itself sits in the back of the consumer unit just here, so just make sure that nothing is obstructing it, or otherwise it will overheat. We have some fuses just here. We have the main 12 volt fuse just there, straight off the leisure battery, and then we have the fuse for the solar panel. We have also here just the tank heater relay. So on this model, both the fresh and the waste tanks are fitted with tank heaters, which are automatic. So if there is water in either of the tanks and the temperature outside drops below about 3-4 degrees, the tank heaters will come on to avoid any frost damage. If we now just come to the other travel seats, and again, if I now just pop this section down, just tucked at the back there is the water pump. The white part just there is what's known as the surge dampener. It just slightly limits what's known as pump shudder. You can also see that there is a little bit of storage space underneath here as well. The solar panel regulator is just up here. We do not need to do anything with the regulator itself. It will just smart charge both the leisure battery and the vehicle battery as it is required. Microwave just here. The isolator switch for it is just up here. This is what is known as an eco microwave, so you do need to press the eco button to turn the unit on, and this will only work when you are hooked up to mains electricity. It's always advisable to remove any contents for travel. Then down here we have quick start and stop. We then have auto cook up here, and then we have defrost, etc., power settings, extra time set just here as well. Beneath that is the hob. So we have the electric hot plate just here, and again, like the microwave, will work when the motorhome is hooked up to main supply, and it operates just here, and the red light will come on to let you know it's in operation. We then have the 3 gas burners, and it's just push in, twist, and then come down to the igniter just here. Beneath that we then have the grill, and again it's just push in, twist, and push the igniter. And then the oven. Beneath the oven we have storage, but we also have some gas isolation taps just here for the oven, the hob and the fridge. They are all in the on position, and quite frankly they can stay like that. I always say if you do smell gas in the motorhome, go to the source and turn the gas bottle off. Also in here, just tucked up here, is the isolator switch for the hot plate. Dometic fridge just here. So currently in the off position. To run the fridge on mains electricity, just turn to the little picture of the 2-pin plug just here. After that we have a little picture of a battery, and this one is 12 volt maintain. This is the one that we pop it onto to keep the fridge cold whilst on the move. So the engine does need to be running for this to work. And then lastly we have a picture of a flame, and this is if we are going to run the fridge on gas. To light the fridge, what we basically want is for this line here to drift out of the white into the green. So come across to the temperature control, hold it in, and then push the igniter, and then once the fridge is lit, you'll see it slowly drift into the green. After a few moments, then let go, and then as long as it stays in the green, you know it's lit. If it does drop back off again, just repeat the process. It can take a couple of goes, especially if you've put a new gas bottle on, just to get all the air out of the system. As soon as you turn it back to anything else, it will automatically put itself back out again. Freezer box just here, which can be removed if you just want a large fridge. It's just a clip up there and up there. Omni vent fan just here. So to use this, firstly wind the roof vent open, and then we have middle button to turn the unit on and off, and then we have arrows out for extraction and arrows in for cooling. Variable fan speed just by pressing. Do make sure that all roof vents are down for travel. TV points just here. So we have aerial fly lead in, 12 volt plug in, and 2 main sockets as well. The electric step switch just there. If we now come to the wardrobe, we have the location of the television aerial. So at the back there we have the digital amplifier for the television aerial. So to raise the mast, just undo the collar just here and then just pop it up. Get the aerial into the position that you require. This green window just here represents the back of the aerial, and then just lock it into place. This particular digital amplifier is fitted with a signal finder, so as long as you have a nice solid green light, you know you've got a good signal. Do make sure that the mast is down for travel. The freestanding table is just located here. Washroom. So we have the basin just here, and then the shower. The cassette toilet swivels all about. Open to the cassette just on the grey lever just here, and then push the flush on the blue button. Level indicator just here, so it will illuminate to let you know when the cassette needs emptying, and then close back up to the cassette again. If this has been left open and you try to remove the cassette from the outside, it will not come out. So if you do feel resistance, just make sure that nobody's left this open. If we now come to the rear, and I just move the cushions off this bench seat, we have a great big large amount of storage, but we also have the location of the whale boiler as well. So if I now just flap down just here, we can see the boiler. We can also see the gas isolation tap for it just there, and then we also have the drain valve for it just here. So to drain the boiler down for winterization, what we need to do is firstly make sure the water pump is turned off, and then just literally flick this up like so. This will then begin to drain all the water out of the boiler. If you are fully winterizing the motorhome, I also suggest that you go around and open up all the taps as well, because this will help release any airlocks in the system and it will drain off much better. When it comes to repriming the boiler, firstly make sure that this yellow lever is across again like it is now. Close all the taps, fill up the fresh water tank, turn on the water pump, and it will then begin to refill. After a few minutes, begin opening the taps. They'll cough and splutter as they force the air out. Once they're running freely on both hot and cold, reclose, and then the system will fully reprime itself. Under the opposite bench seat there is some storage. We also have the location of the whale space heater just there, and also just the back of the gas locker. With this rear bed you can either have two singles, and it's literally just a matter of just removing the back cushions to make them slightly wider, or you can have it as a double bed. And to have it as a double, firstly just pull all the slats across, and then it's just a matter of dropping the cushions into place. The rear chest of drawers can also be removed if you want an extremely large double bed as well, and then once it's removed it's just a matter of taking both cushions and then just popping them both into place as well. Again, more TV plug-in points just here. To make up the dinette bed, we need the dinette table, which is just located behind the driver's seat. It just drops into position just here. So now with the table in place, take the infill cushion and just pop it into place. And then just remove both backrests to give extra length, and then you have a small double or a very large single bed. if you want to make this into a larger double, what is needed to be done is these sections here lifted up, and then popping the wooden section in just here, and then popping in again the extra infills. The dinette table just clips onto the wall bar just there, and then just push the clips in to lock it on, and then the leg just folds just on here. We have the overcab bed just here, just pulls down on the gas struts, attach the ladder just on here, and then we also have this part here that just pops out to avoid anybody falling out of bed. Carbon monoxide alarm and smoke alarm, just press the buttons from time to time just to make sure they are working, as they are both battery operated.